hope you're ready for this.
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
So hello and welcome to the 27th episode of Trollin HGC, a Heroes of the Storm podcast focused on esports and a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host, LiQuid, and I'm joined today as usual by Bahgz. How's it going, man?
What up, dude?
So we have a couple of guests on today, and a special guest. We have Jschritte, SSG's flex player, Super SpaceStation Gaming. That's what I get for talking Super Smash before this. And Latin American Transplant. How's it going, man?
Good. How are everyone?
Awesome, awesome. And also joining us, friend of the show and frequent guest, Trent. Wow. How's it going, Trent?
Do you want to run this back? Like, I know we're live, but we can just pretend it didn't happen.
No, man, I'll work through this. I'm going to work through this. I've learned that I should apparently be doing vocal exercises before the show now, so I'm going to add that to my repertoire.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Right.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited for tonight. We're going to have awesome conversations, and I'm wearing this super weird sweater that I think looks dumb, but my wife likes, so people can tell me whether I should ever wear it again. I don't know what this weird, like, bibby thing is.
No, it's your collar, man. It's like, it's the collar.
But it has this weird, like, thing in the middle that, like, it's not an actual collar. I don't know. It's weird.
I told you, you need a SpaceStation shirt.
Yes.
Well, yeah, dude. Like, who else do I need to talk to? Like, who can you get me in touch with to get me a free shirt?
I mean,
maybe me.
It doesn't even have to be
Next
free.
year?
Next year? All right.
Bahgz will pay for it the day it's out. Like he ordered that jersey that he's wearing right now, his Team Freedom jersey, on the show, like mid-show last time, like 2 weeks ago. So yes, it doesn't even have to be free. We just need it to be up. But before we jump into too much, free is good. We never turn down free.
I feel like we need to derail the show further and talk about how much bad form it is to be wearing a Team Freedom jersey while Jay is here.
I mean, I feel like he was wearing something else when Team Freedom was on. No, I guess it was your T-shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah, I made sure to wear the Team Freedom T-shirt.
It's like wearing a Jets jersey when you're going to interview Tom Brady.
Oh no, you have to do that because it's Tom Brady. I
would do that on purpose.
Yes.
Well,
come on. All right. I do want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. We share that with the Nexus Trolls and all of our other stuff that we're branching out into, and look for some interesting changes to that coming soon, including going away from per posting to monthly billing, things like that. So that'll be fun. And we need to thank our troll of the week, which I'm going to let Bahgz do because he knows this person. He's not even ready.
Curveball.
Curveball,
I saw
buddy.
you guys mention it, but I didn't think you were serious. So
oh yeah, I was serious.
This week is Spoodle. Spoodle's my girlfriend of 5 years. She is constantly supporting me in these crazy endeavors. She, as far as like streaming and going to BlizzCon and doing 2 podcasts about esports. So she supports me, and that's a supporter of the show. She's in the Troll Discord. She's always up for games with Daz and I when we're on and doing after show games. So Spoodle, Troll of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, she was great at BlizzCon. Like, she made sure we got to see all the games and, like, super helpful too. So, I mean, I didn't move except for maybe twice, but yes, that was awesome. All right, we have a news bumper for you.
Tonight on the Trolls.gg podcast network, Trollin HGC proudly presents Heroes Esports News, Notes, and Drama with your hosts, LiQuiud and Bahgz.
All right, so it is Christmas break. There's not a whole lot of news going out right now, which is kind of disappointing for us because we definitely want to talk more about HGC 2018, but there's like being really quiet about it. So there's really only 2 things that we're going to talk about, if you guys even want to like dive into any of these things. But that is that most of the schedule has been published on masterleague.net. Not a huge thing, but what's interesting to me is that MasterLeague.net has the whole schedule and Blizzard's website still shows 2017. Like, do that math.
I think they have the schedule for next season.
They definitely have it, but it's like hidden. So like if you go to the regular site, it says, oh yeah, league play starts in 18 days, right? But then you click on the schedule and it wants you to go into 2017. And 2018, it like sort of shows, but then depending on the link you click on, it goes back to 2017. Like they missed some links. So there's still...
You kind of have to hunt for it.
Yes, it's
there,
not...
But you kind of have to hunt for it.
Yeah, so they could improve it, but that's okay. Because the schedule is out. Check out the schedule. We still don't know... well, I don't know where Western Clash and Eastern Clash are going to be played.
I know, but I don't know if I can tell.
I don't think you're allowed to tell, so let's not get you in trouble. Maybe afterwards you can talk to us about that after the show. Because I know Bahgz and I want to try and get out to see Western Clash or at least Midseason Brawl if we can. Anyway, all right, so schedule's rolling out. Go check out MasterLeague.net. Check out the Blizzard Heroes page if you want to hunt and click. But in other news, over in EU, Fnatic making some, I think, questionable changes, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Mene is moving to the carry position, which kind of makes sense considering he's Mage Mene. But Quacknick's moving to the flex position. At this point, I'm worried about that, but what do you guys think? How do you feel about that change?
I mean, like, role changes are always interesting. You worry that they're not going to work out, but I think, me personally, I think this is probably the right move for the team.
Okay.
Now, Caldor disagrees with me on this, but I feel like Mene has a little bit of a smaller hero pool, so this is more to his advantage, and I think Quack would probably fit the flex role better on that team. I worry that, I mean, I do have the concern that, Quack's been the carry for that team for 2 years now, so it's a big move. We'll see how he does, but I think ultimately this is probably the best. It's the best for the team because they in GCWC it felt too much like that the roles weren't too solidified enough. So,
but when they need to play Faustad and Hyper Carry, normally who played it was Quacknix.
Right. Yes. It was Quack.
Then he was playing with Flex, but yeah, I think not to change so much. Specifically on this meta, because the mage are coming again.
Right. That could be a good point. That specifically with this meta itself. That's a fair point.
It seems to me like it's only for some really specific stuff that anything is going to change. Like, I think it's a bad change just because it's basically the same change that Dignitas went through, where like Snitch tried to become the carry, and because Mene couldn't play the hyper carries like the Valas and things, so we kind of already know that this doesn't work amazing in a meta where you need like a secondary support with a hyper carry. But if the meta is more mage oriented, more double threat oriented, I could see a scenario where like Quack's Genji is better and Mene is able to be on mages more, and they're more designing their compositions around Mene's hero pool.
Right.
So
okay.
It'll be interesting. I think Fnatic is probably going to have a rough first split. I'm thinking there's a real chance that they miss the first international this season.
Not.
You don't think so?
No.
So, I mean, here's my thing with this specifically. My question is, why didn't they try this before they went to China? So they'd have
time.
I
cut you off. I just
but
don't think
really?
they have time.
No, it's because in China the meta was double support. Then
That's
it's
true.
so much different.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Good call.
Because Mena had been in that flexing role all the later half of last season. So to change that, to move, to not only bring in new players, but then also move your captain to a new role for the most competitive tournament of the year,
Right.
like that would just be it wouldn't give you any good data.
Right. Well, and the meta is shifting, right, with the support nerf that came out 2 weeks ago.
Listen, if mages are coming back in style, like Jschrite's saying, man, like
this could be the rise of Mene again.
I don't know about rise again. Let's see. I don't know if Mene never really left, but
all right, fair enough.
Did you see his Brightwing?
Fair enough.
But...
All right. Cool. So let's jump into, that's really it news wise. So let's get ready to talk some real questions here. All right, so what everybody came to see, the interview, Jschritte. And I don't know if you remember, man, but as soon as you said you were thinking about moving to NA, and Bahgz and I were trying to find the tweet, and I just could not find it. I tweeted you like that day, and I was like, we got to have you on the show. We'll work through any problems you have. Like, we got to have you on the show. We want to talk about this. And you wanted to work on your English more, which is cool. We totally get that. But I'm super excited to have you on here because I've been like looking forward to having you on here since then. So there we go.
It's my first podcast. Sometimes someone trying to invite me for some quest, but I say no. I think I'm not ready. My English is not so good for this, and maybe in the future.
I mean, it's fine right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have no problem understanding you. So
okay.
We asked Reddit for questions because we always like, it's something we're trying to do now, get more questions from Reddit people because they usually have some good ideas. And we also have like some kind of generic questions that we ask all the time too. So we're gonna just kind of jump through these. And all right, here we go. Bahgz, you want to start, or you want me to start?
You can go ahead and give us a start, and then I'll jump in.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna start with like Heroes Esports and like who you are. So some of this is gonna be repetitive for people that may have been following you for a while. Some of it may not, but we're gonna go ahead and start with, where did you grow up?
Okay, I'm grow up from LATAM. I play Heroes since 2015 when the Heroes was in alpha, and it is.
All right. Did you like? Yeah. So this is gonna be a weird question to ask. Outside of Heroes, what other like interests do you have? What do you like to do?
I'm like go to the gym. I think this is so much important.
Okay.
But the most of people think it's the muscle guy. But I like to go to the gym because I think this is so much important for the player to make sure it's where I make my mentality so strong, and yeah, it's for be healthy and everything. It's not only about muscles.
No, absolutely not. Like, a healthy body and a healthy mind make a better player. I completely agree about that. I'm the opposite of that right now, but that's okay. So we were sitting. I was lucky enough. We were sitting probably 4 or 5 seats down from you on day one of BlizzCon, and I saw you sitting there. And I've seen you stream. I've seen you on TV before, but like seeing your arms in person is a completely different thing. So I have to ask. This is a question for me. If you and Kaldor arm wrestled, who would win?
We did it in in Russian.
Did it actually happen?
Yeah, this happened, and he beat me. But he cheated.
He cheated.
Yeah.
Wait, are you calling Kaldor out right now?
Yeah, you can. He waited me. I drink like 3 drinks. And after this, he asked me for a go armless.
Yep.
And he won, but in BlizzCon I asked again for, come on, my revenge is now. And he said, no, you broken my arms. I could not training for 6 months, and I not to do this. Oh, sorry.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I had no idea that happened, so that's awesome. Okay, so these two kind of go hand in hand. What goals do you have as a professional HOTS player, and what's the toughest part of being a professional HOTS player?
I think I only have one goal. It's be the top team in the world one time. I think this is my goal, and
okay,
everything that I do, it's to be this.
Okay.
I know it's so much, but I like to think so big, and I think when you have big goals and big dreams, everyone that you make it, you need to make more things and work more hard.
No, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
It's
mindset
like
you gotta have.
crazy. Yeah, it's like crazy because a Latin guy wanna be a world championship. Yeah, I want.
Well, I know that's an awesome, like, if you want to make that the goal, that's the goal to have, right? You just have to work for it. I totally agree. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I got this question. How did you come up with Jschritte? Like the name, like where did that come from?
It's funny. It's like my first name. It's Juan. Then
Right.
I get the J, right?
Yep.
And I say, oh come on, I wanna have a first name. Then I get my second name and put in the Google Translate. How is this name in Germany? And he say Jschritte. And oh, nice, cool. Then I use. It's my new nickname.
Awesome. Okay. I totally dig that.
So is it pronounced Jschritte?
Jschritte.
Jschritte.
But-
I've been
but-
pronouncing it wrong.
But no one call me for this nickname. In Latam, they call me for Judite because no one can spell and say the nickname when they are in lives or saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
Jschritte is going, Jschritte is back, and Jschritte is fight." It's a big name and a difficult name.
Right. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. That's actually interesting. Sorry, I had no idea. Let's see, we're grabbing another one from chat. Okay. I don't know if you watch anime or not, but we've started asking this question. So, top 5 favorite anime.
I don't watch enemies.
Okay,
I'm not so much fun.
that's fine. How about top
But-
5 favorite shows?
Hey, what's the name that we watch every day?
What, Stranger Things?
What's the name?
Stranger Things?
No, that we are watching the kitchen.
Oh, Family Guy.
Family Guy. It's
There
the
you
show
go.
that I'm watching to learn English. Family Guy.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I'm learning English with Family Guy every day.
There you go.
One episode per day.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Amazing.
Man, that is great.
All right, let's jump into a little bit about BlizzCon in 2017. What was it like going into Brawl or BlizzCon as a minor region?
I think we don't have so much attention because everyone think we are underdog, and sometimes it's sad because you see they normally make a big production for major teams, and you say a lot of players have more attention, but I think it's fine.
Okay. Do you think that you guys have less resources? I mean, obviously you have less people to scrim against, but as a whole, like the scene, you think there's just less resources in Latin America than there is in other places, other than the competition level, which I guess is hard.
I think not. Do you think something?
No, I know Sixth Sense relatively well. They scrim against an amateur team that I manage, so I talk to them a lot, and I feel like you guys have resources in Latin America, but you don't have the competition that you need to rise to the international scene. But like we're gonna talk later, you guys have player houses. Like the scene itself seems healthier, but the competition seems to not be there. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think every time when you are going to the international event, we don't have screen, then it's a big problem.
Right.
Because I think we stay like 1 month without screen. Then we only have time to screen when we are in the international event. It's like 1 or 2 days.
Mhm.
And normally this is not enough for us because the other teams are practicing all day when they are going to the international event, and we can do nothing. We only can play Hero League every day, and maybe a lot of times we asked for make boot camp, but for 2 orgs in Brazil and in Latin America, they think this is so expensive for the price pool that's international
Right.
events.
Right.
Mm.
I could see that.
Makes sense.
Okay. And then I think the last question I want to ask you around this, and this is less around 2017, but kind of looking forward. What do you think about the changes with the ANZ and the Latin American and the playoffs that they're doing? Have you looked at that at all?
I think the both will be more competitive, but not growing. Will be more competitive because like the players are the top players or the head players from these minor regions,
Right.
move it to other region. Then this is opportunity to new teams and new players grow up and show what they can do. But I think in international level this will be worse.
Okay.
Because yeah, normally the players you need again the international experience, because normally per region it's only 3 or 5 players that have this experience, and this is so much important because it's so different. It's yeah.
All right.
I want to jump in with a question real quick, talking about international stuff, because I feel like you talked about before, the Latin American teams don't get as much production at BlizzCon and stuff. I feel like we really only got to know you when like Red Canids and Big Gods and all of those teams came over. Who do you think fans should start paying attention to when we lead into the next international? Like, who's going to be the next Jschritte from Latin America? Or are you just way better than everybody else?
It's because normally this happen a lot of the teams. You have one people that it's more popular than the other players from the team. But if you look for Red Canids team, they had a lot of players who played the all international events. Mm-hmm. It's Tyfact, it's Vieira, it's Maurice. It's the same. They didn't change. We were played together had two years. Then I believe they still be in the top 10 from Latin America. And I don't know, maybe now they will change the people who had more attention, because normally it's me because I streaming and I am more popular, I am more active in my social medias. But I think will be in Red Canids, but maybe can be Tyfax or Vieira.
Okay.
Any of them have as big of arms as you?
No,
or they're gonna have to find something different to make them popular.
I think in Latin America don't have someone with some arms than me.
I still like. I kind of want to see you and Caldor flex next to each other, because I think you have probably the biggest ones. All right, good. That's what I was gonna say. I think you have the biggest arms in HGC. Period. Like, that's just the way it is. Cool. Okay. All right, Bahgz. I think we're over to NA move.
All right, I got this. Jschritte. So Jschritte. I'm gonna get in the habit now.
Everyone in my team call me por J. You can call me por J. Come on.
How confident were you about moving to Canada and being able to make it onto an NA HGC team? Like, did you know, like, before you made the move that you were gonna try out for a team and make it onto a team, or was it just a big question mark and you weren't sure and you were just going for it?
It's so hard to say, because when I move it and when I get a team, I saw some tweeters and everyone say, oh, before he moved it, he knows he had tryouts, and because he knows so much people and blah 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 blah. But when I moved it, I didn't know nothing. I asked to everyone to tryouts. I knew people from the teams because I play international events, but was only this. They are not my friends, and I don't have so much contact. I only asked, come on, I'm moving, because I moved 1 month before BlizzCon, because I knew if I moved after BlizzCon, probably I didn't have tryouts.
Right.
And when I moved to Canada, I asked to everyone for tryouts, and I received some questions. We are waiting to BlizzCon finish, and we only will know if you have tryouts after this. And when I moved, I didn't know nothing. I had so much questions because was a new visa. I didn't know if my visa will work for this, because it's Canadian visa. It's not American visa. It's different. and I never had saw my roommate. Then maybe he could be a bad person, and I didn't know, but he didn't. And yeah, I didn't know nothing. I only know I will move, and I don't care what could happen.
Right. Well, we're glad
Okay.
you moved.
Well, so you went out on a limb, man, and it worked out. So I'm happy to hear that. It's a little bit of an inspiration, to be honest with you. I mean, you could say the same for Arcaner and Robodoba as well. You guys kind of you took a leap of faith, and it worked out for you. So for those that are listening and watching the show, just keep that in mind. You want to achieve something, you gotta put yourself out there and try.
I think in my case it's more complicated because Robodoba and Arcane, yeah, Arcane had family, and Robodoba had Arcane. When I moved, I didn't have no one here, and
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you about this later, but I'm going to ask you now. So, what is it like to just kind of? I mean, you're chasing a dream, and shout out to you, but it's got to be tough to just kind of get up, move to a foreign country. Like, do you have any family with you? Did anyone come with you from Brazil or what?
No, no one in my family live here, and my family is all from Brazil in the same city, and I didn't have friends. Was so strange because when I found my roommate, I announced it like 3 times on my Twitter. Someone can help me. I need a roommate in Canada or United States, and I think I did it 3 times, and in the 3rd time they say everyone said joking, oh, I can, and I say, come on, bro, don't joke with me because I will go, and he say, oh, you really? And I say, yeah, I will go. You are ready? And he say, oh, we can talk more about this, and it's what happened. It's crazy.
So your roommate knew who you were in Here's the Storm before you moved?
I think the most of people don't know so much about Latin America. Probably they could see me sometimes in international events because he watched some games, but I think not much because he asked me if I have something if I had something with police or some problems and what I did, and I say, no, come on, I only play heroes. I'm not that dangerous people.
That's wild, man. Listen, props to you. Now, after leaving Latin America, and I guess you can kind of the 2 regions are interconnected. How does this affect the scene back home? Is it's probably obviously weaker, but it's like, do you have any ideas or predictions on how the scenes are going to be moving forward? Weaker, stronger?
It's like I say, I think we'll be weaker because the teams are not motivated to play next season. Some players are already announced they will not play, but I think now they have 2 good teams. It's still being Red Canids and Six Sense from the north. Normally, Six Sense were the team who always been in second, and maybe now they have they are live in a Mexico game house. Then I think they are improving so much they could be improved, and probably the next year will be these 2 teams, but I think we'll be weak because with Six Sense we win the next year will be 5 players where they don't have so much international experience, and with Red Canids, I will cheers for Red Canids because it's from Brazil, but yeah, probably will be Maurice will replace me. Maurice was playing Overwatch and he's returning to Heroes of the Storm after 1 year, but I think we'll be weak.
Bummer. I mean, I guess it's to be expected. The next question I have for you then is how much time do you put into studying the other regions, maybe like Korea or EU? Is it that not something you do at all?
I watched all games from Korea and Europe and North America.
There you go. Do you check out China when you can too, or is it primarily just Korea, EU, and NA?
No, I watch
He wants to watch good teams.
Oh, come on, Trent.
Come on.
No, I watched China. I normally when I think in the 2015 and in the start or the beginning of the 2016, they had a good play style because we always liked to play so much aggressive, and China always be so much aggressive. Then I always watched China to say for my team, oh, we can play like this, or we can make this comp. And I think this is so much important because in Latin America, because we don't have so much time to screens, then if you want to improve, you need constantly watching the VODs and what are happening the other countries.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I think this is part of my work. It's study other teams and see how they are playing.
Do you have a favorite other region to watch, or like a favorite player from another region?
Yeah, I love Saki.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, because I think Saki, everyone talk about Rich because everyone say, oh, Rich is the best player in the world, but I think Saki it's the key player from your team because normally he is playing for your team. He makes good players like Rich sometimes, but I think when your team needed he playing with support, he played and play good, not a poor support. He played so good. Then I think he are focused to play for your team than to try make plays and everything like this. Have more attention.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, Bahgz. I was struck. I had to
it's
ask
all good,
that.
man. Follow up when you have a follow up that pops up in your head, man. Now my question for you is: now that you're in NA, you've had some time you've latched onto a team, you've had some time to scrim against other NA competition. Can you say if how do you feel being here? Have you improved as a player? And if so, why? How does it feel to have consistent scrims every day? Talk us through that.
I'm feeling so better now because I'm screaming 6 hours per day normally, and in Latin America we only had like 20 hours per day. When we had, because when we can't schedule screen, because like here I know what teams we will play the next 3 or 4 weeks because we schedule a screen per month. Then I know we will have screen every day and who will screaming. But in Latin America we never know this. Then I can improve so much because I think the most thing that I can improve is I can know how we invest some cheese because this is one of the biggest problem when we went to the international event. We don't have time to screen, then we cannot play with cheese comps,
Right.
and we don't know how to play with cheese comps. Then this is so much important. And I think other thing is I'm now how we have my time more time. We have more flexibility have more flexibility to play with other heroes because it's like I say normally I play with in Easter Dutch comps, then it's Vala, it's normal heroes. Here I can play with Jschritte, with Hanzo, and what I want and see if he is good or bad for some compositions in some maps. And
That's
then,
awesome.
yeah, I think this is a big difference in what I'm feeling improve.
Hey, so you're able to put more time in to try other things where before you were on such a limited amount of time, you had to prioritize that onto stronger heroes. I understand.
Yeah.
That's great.
Another thing, I think it's normally when the blocks, the screen blocks finish, everyone are queuing in the sometime Hero League. Then I have like 3 or 4 hours playing Hero League with good mates. Then in LATAM, normally I play Hero League with Platinos and Diamonds.
That makes sense.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a I guess it's a population thing, right? There's a lot more people playing Heroes in NA.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you've had to adapt to since moving to Canada? Like, what is like, it's got to be a complete culture shock, right? Like, walk us through that.
I think I need to do everything for myself because I don't have no one here. Then if I want a food, I need to cook. If I need go to the gym, I need to ask someone to bring me to the gym. Then everything, if I need fix something, I need to for myself. If I need buy food or something, I need have money, and it's not it's not because I live it with my mom in Brazil. Then if I need something, sometimes she could help me.
Right.
But here it's so much different. It's the money here is 3 times my money. Then everything gets more expensive for me, and everything is for myself. I think it's the big difference and what I need to adapt to.
Okay.
I hear you. The struggle is real. Wow. Now, I guess the next question I have for you is, what do you think? So now that you've been in NA for a little while, you played in Latin America for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
What are the biggest difference in the esports scenes? Like, as far as you've already touched on it a little bit, and I just want to see if you can shed some more light on it, whether it be practice schedules, personalities, just general life. What are the biggest differences between, playing in North America, trying to make it as an esports pro, versus, playing in Latin America and trying to make it as an esports pro?
I think it's how the people look for esports here. In Latin America, example, if I say it for someone that, I am a pro player, probably they will ask me, what is it? And if I explain that I play video games or computer games, they will say I'm crazy because how can I make money with this, and why I'm not studying or why I'm not working. I think it's about this. Here I feel more comfortable, and when I talk with people, they look at me, oh, it's okay, maybe you can make money with this. I already saw people playing this on TV, and it's good. It's fine. Yeah, it's if I talk with some girl and she asked me what I did, and if I say that I play computer games, probably I never saw this girl more than one time in my life in Brazil. Probably
Scare her away.
this could be happening, but here it's different. I think it's more popular and more acceptable.
That's interesting. Because I know it feels weird. It feels like in Korea and China, it's definitely more popular and acceptable. It's interesting to hear that in NA, it's more acceptable than it is in Latin America. At least to me.
I find it hard to believe, but
right? But no, I totally believe it. So craziness. All right. All right, we're almost done. I promise. We only have a couple more questions we're gonna ask you. What's it like working with LiQiuD? That one's mine too.
With LiQiuD?
Yeah.
What I like?
No, what's it like? Like, is it
is it good or bad?
Yeah.
Oh, I like work with him. I think because LiQiuD is our coach, player, manage, right?
Yep.
Then I think it's so much important, and I really like it because I feel it's the people more near than me when I need something in the team, or when I'm thinking something and I can't ask or talk with someone. Then I'm really liking, and yeah, I think it's more. I think LiQiuD like a friend because it's the people who I asked things and who give me some tips or talking something that I need to know.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll go next. All right.
Sorry.
It's all right, man. Sorry. Sorry. What are so as a whole, SpaceStation Gaming, what do you guys like? What's your goal for phase 1 of 2018?
I think everyone in the team wanna be the top 4, because
Okay.
top 4 will be to the class. But it's what I say to them every time. I'm not coming to be the top 4. I wanna be the top 1, but I know sometimes you need time. It's not so fast, and I always trying to make everyone think what you do will be for the team. Then everyone need change your mindset to be like a team. And I know this really needs sometimes the people change your mind, and I think it is.
Okay.
But I think top 4 everyone will be happy.
Okay.
Will you be happy with top 4, or will you only be happy with number 1?
I'm only will be happy with number 1, but it's fine.
I mean, you have to hit top 4 before you can hit number 1, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's a stepping stone. Yeah, I can get that. All right. Last directed question. If you weren't playing ranged flex, which role would you want to play? Like if you play any role out there.
And I think probably I tried some tryouts on support. I like to play support. I think it's one role that the most of people don't know how to play, and they don't like to play. Because if you ask someone if they like to play support, they will say, no, I don't like. I want to play assassin, or I want to kill everyone, or I want to make plays. And the most of times the support don't need make plays. And when they are not making plays, it's how they are make plays.
Right.
It's the sense. I think we need one people that they really want to play for the team, and I like this.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Bahgz.
Can
Yeah. No,
jump
go
in this
ahead.
one?
Go ahead, man.
So like we've been referring to it as the range flex, but like the way, and don't tell us any secret strategies or anything unless you want to, which would be great. But how is SpaceStation breaking down the roles? Like, are you mainly doing like the Vala and the like carry role, or are you flexing into like second support and Abathur and that kind of stuff?
I'm flex support like about to and what they need. It's every time. Sometimes your hyper carry asking me, "Oh, what you wanna play in this composition?" I say, "Come on, I am the flex. I can't choose. You choose what you want and what are the best, and I will play what you not wanna play." Then I still be in the flex.
Awesome. That's like the ultimate team player play, right? That's the point of the
that,
flex
yeah.
almost. It's like you have to be that flexible, right? It's in the name of the position almost. Well, I mean, it is.
I can't
not
choose.
almost.
I don't need to choose. They need to choose, and is my role.
Yeah.
So
Like-
when you're as the flex, like how do you prioritize, or how do you pick what you're going to practice on your own for your hero pool? Like do you just say you can play anything, or do you know like these are the 12 heroes that I'm really good at and that we should pick out of these?
Normally, sometimes this was really strange for me, because when you try like run Hanzo, when they are valuable, and they say, "Oh, you will pick Hanzo and you try how Hanzo can be good in this comp." And I said, "No, I not will play because I'm not ready. If you get Hanzo now, probably we really don't know if Hanzo is good or bad in the composition, because I'm not will be 100%. Then normally I try to focus in like standard comps. I know like I need to play it with 5 or 8 heroes, and when you are practicing some chase, and I know my channel is more comfortable to play with chase comps and cheese with cheese comps, I start to play this hero more in Hero League, and after this we play in screens. Like I played a lot of Junkrat because I want to bring for my team they can pick Junkrat. It's not like, oh, you can pick everyone because I'm flex. I know if I not be 100% of this hero, I'm not helping my team, and probably we don't know the potential for the heroes and for the comp.
Awesome.
All right then.
Are you good,
Well,
Trent?
Trent, now we're gonna put you on the hot spot, man.
Pile on
What
Trent
does
time.
Reddit want to know about me?
Actually, it's interesting. We got a couple of questions from Reddit for you.
What is it, Trent, about HOTS that got you interested in following the scene and continues to keep you interested?
So, as anyone who's ever listened to this show with me on it knows, I got my start in esports in League of Legends. And I worked for Riot for a couple of years covering the LCS. And after I left that position with Riot, I kind of didn't follow League as closely. And I was looking for something that would kind of fill that gap. Like, League was getting so established, it was really hard to break in somewhere. And so I was looking for something that I could grow alongside. And Heroes happened to be just kind of at that right point in time. And I was a huge World of Warcraft player. I was a really serious raider all through college. So it grabbed me instantly because it was Blizzard the game and I could play Thrall. And I think Heroes, like, to anyone who's trying to defend Heroes to someone that plays another MOBA, what I think is so special about Heroes is the combination of being so team oriented with just the way that the game is designed. It is so much more focused on team coordination than any other MOBA, combined with the expansive map pool makes draft so much more interesting to someone that understands drafting. Like, a lot of what I did in League was writing about drafting, and that's really what has kept me in love with Heroes so much, is the fact that the team, the map, all of this informs how you draft and changes how you draft. And that extra layer of preparation that's required, I think, makes Heroes the most interesting MOBA to follow, just because of that added layer of depth in the pre-game preparation.
Awesome.
All right, I think that answers their question.
That needs to be
well.
clipped.
All right,
We have a lot of clips from the show already, dude.
We've had relative roster stability. We've had more orgs and quality orgs at that entering the scene, and now we've assembled two pretty scary, quote, super teams, unquote, with a couple of dark horses in the mix. What are the next steps for NA to compete with the best of EU and Korea? Are we on the right track, or are we still missing something? Do we have to just get good now, or what's the deal?
So, Jay, you've been coming from a minor region, so you can probably speak to this and tell me if I'm wrong. I think the biggest thing that holds regions back consistently is depth. If we talked about this the last time I was on, if your mistakes are not getting exposed in your region, you can't fix them because you don't even know that they're there. You really don't discover your habits and your mistakes and your weaknesses until someone better exposes them. And we see this all the time when, like, Roll20 runs up against teams. If you look back at the first Western class that Roll20 went to, Dignitas punished their over-aggression in a way that no other team in North America had. And then they fixed that and became the best team in North America by a wide margin. But if a team had been able to expose that flaw in their gameplay in North America, it wouldn't have been a problem against Dignitas, and they probably win that series. And I feel like and it's probably the same in Latin America. I don't know, Jay, like, are Red Canids way better than everybody else? Or when you were on the team, were you guys, like, dramatically better than everybody else in Latin America?
In Latin America, yes. But
Yeah.
So,
And
okay, go ahead.
And basically what that means is, like, the Red Canids aren't getting that quality level of practice. Like, even if they could scrim 6 hours a day every single day, the other teams in Latin America aren't going to be punishing them as consistently as MVP Black would, because MVP Black the players are better and they know the game better. So that's why you see Korea so consistently good, is because all of the players there are so mechanically good, are so studied at the game. So the whole region punishes mistakes more, corrects habits more, and that's what produces these elite Korean teams.
Right.
And that's why I for me, coming from League, like as soon as Korea decided they cared about League of Legends, we've never been close. We don't make it out of groups in North America, and we probably never will. And I don't really care that much. I'm super weird, I think, in the internet, where I don't super care about the best. I just care about my region. I'm a super North America homer. And I like, it doesn't matter to me. Like it stinks that Roll20 kind of washed out of the playoffs at Gold Club. I'm still super excited to watch North America this season. The fact that we are the third or fourth best region doesn't matter to me. I care about the players here. I care about the storylines here. I want to see what happens because a guy left his home and moved to Canada with nobody around and now has to figure out how to buy food for himself with these weird, like, loonies and toonies and whatnot.
You gotta love the toonies, man.
Whatever Canadian money is.
Loonies and toonies, man.
Monopoly money. It's not. He doesn't. It's like not even real.
It's definitely like loonies and toonies is definitely one of the names for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jay, how much different is the money compared to Brazil? Like, how weird is it trying to like buy a loaf of bread compared to where you used to live?
You talk about the price or about the?
Just like is it way more expensive? It's 3 times more expensive.
Yeah, it's 3 times.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, but I when I moved to Canada, I make some plans how much I will need for 6 months. Then I start to think this on January in the last year, when I say to everyone, in 1st January 2016, I say to everyone, in this end of this year I will move to NA, and I didn't know how I will do this, because if you remember these rules in 2016 in the Januaries, the players could not play in North America. But I say, I'm not figure out how I do this. I don't have money for this. Then I need to win every tournament this year and save all money that I need, because I need buy the flight ticket, I need buy the computer, I need rent house for 6 months, and I did have some money to buy food for 6 months. Then I didn't have idea, but I knew I really need to do this, and yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I mean, I don't know, like, there's nothing else you can say. You wanted to do it, and you did it, man. Right? I mean, seriously. Holy cow. Like, it's crazy. Like, when you're talking about it, it's crazy. It's like, I knew I wanted to move there a year before they even, well, like 8 months before they even said I could play. I knew I was going to move there, and that was my plan. And, like, hats off to you, man. That's amazing.
This happened because in 2015, after BlizzCon, the most of people don't know, but after the BlizzCon 2015, we are trying to move to North America, because we know we have so much potential to play North America.
Right.
I remember in 2014, when the Cloud9 won the BlizzCon, we screaming vs Cloud9 with 200 ping, and we won scrims. And no one know about this, but we are so confident in your team play and your synergy, because we had in gaming house for 6 months. Then everyone in my team were like brothers. And in 2015, when Overwatch coming, 2 players from my team moved to Overwatch, and other 2 players make a new team. Then I think, oh no, I don't have no more thing, no one more to make me stay here in Latin America,
right?
Because they are like a family for me, and I think, oh, now I am alone. And after this, when I remember in January I needed to play for Infamous. It's a Peruvian team. I need to learn Spanish. And I say to everyone, this is will be my last year, and I will do this happen. Well, this is the history how I decided to move to North America.
Wow. Wow.
I think that's
Like, you don't need another motivational follow on Twitter.
No,
Like,
you really don't,
he's
man.
got you covered.
Like, Jesus.
It's so fun.
It's awesome. I felt like it was almost a good segue, and I can't decide if we should segue that into the housing conversation or do something different. So I'll leave it up to you guys. You want to jump into housing?
I want to talk about housing.
All right, let's do
love
housing.
Talking about game houses.
All right, we're gonna skip for now a little topic. We're gonna go over NA ranking possibly later in the show, but we're gonna go into housing. So I'm gonna just set the stage a little bit. You guys had a little. Jschritte asked Jschritte to ask his question on Twitter. Said, why doesn't NA have housing? We had it in Latin America. Trent started talking. I started talking on Twitter, and the next thing you know, the four of us with Bahgz are here to talk about this. But I want to, before we go over like kind of what happened with Tempo Storm, because that was the one like outstanding try at a player housing project, we'll call it. I was racking my brain and I couldn't remember. I knew another team had a player house and I thought it was in 2015, and it was. I looked it up and realized it was Stellar Lotus, the team that Jesse Cox owned. He had all those guys jammed into a house. I don't remember the roster that was in the house at the time. I know Iacona played for that team at one point. A bunch of other guys did too, right? Yeah. I was trying to like, I only remembered who it was like an hour before the show. And so I was like frantically just trying to like at least get the notes in there. But they also had a house that he put those guys in. But then he like blew the team up 4 months after the house. Not because of the house, but because some other issues, and he decided he wasn't like they weren't placing well, and he didn't have the money to continue supporting it, and so that team kind of went defunct. But Stellar Lotus also had a house at the time. Anyway, long way around to say, Trent, will you please take everybody through the Tempo Storm house story as you remember it?
So Tempo Storm was super duper good. They and Cloud9 were competing for best in the region, and then everybody else was a good chunk behind them. And they decided to move into a gaming house. And what people remember of the Tempo Storm gaming house is that it fell apart colossally at the end. If you can find it on YouTube, there's an amazing episode of Town Hall where Zoya breaks it down that like all the players hate each other. People want to retire from HOTS completely and are miserable. They don't get along. There's a meme from back in the day about a bag of Funyuns. Yeah, the meme is
I remember that
somebody hid someone else's bag of Funyuns or stole their Funyuns, and there was a huge fight in the house about it, which is funny, but it was basically came down to these guys did not get along with each other anymore. They did not trust each other, and everyone was having a miserable experience, but no one could do anything about it because of Blizzard's roster rules leading into BlizzCon, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a sec. But basically when Jay made that tweet, my kind of takeaway and hypothesis is from the biggest example we have of a gaming house in Heroes, the Heroes community kind of learned the wrong lesson.
Yes.
That if you put a bunch of players in a gaming house, they all end up feeling trapped and hating each other, and it ruins the team dynamic, and they can't get along anymore, and they can't practice effectively, and the team explodes, and you lose. And Jay, you were just saying that's not what happened with you guys in your gaming house, right?
Yeah, it's I think this happened for it's what I think. I don't know if this is the right, but it's what I think. What happened is I think the first it's not the player bias from Heroes. They are more older. Then they need different things normally. If you look for League of Legends, it's players with 18 years and 19. Then normally the players in Heroes of the Storm, they have other necessities and they need money to survive, and it's not only stay in a house and play computer all time. This is what I think the most of players think when they are more older than other players. Then I as more stressed, you stay with other forced people if you are older. I think because when you are not older, when you have 18 years old, it's funny and you look to this and oh, this is my dream. But when you are growing, you see the life is not only play computers for the most of peoples. And I think the other thing for this happen, it's I don't know, but I think they don't have the same goal. I think this what make a team broken with they put in a game house. If you put in with more people, if don't have the same goal than me, probably I will hate this guy for forever, and I not will wanna play with him, because I will be in a game house. I will be sacrificing everything to be there to play heroes. Then if I can see what this guy is doing and what he is make for the team and what he doesn't make. And if I look to him and I say, oh, I'm practicing 20 hours per day and this guy is practicing 4 hours per day, I will hate this guy. I can't play with this guy after 2 weeks because he doesn't have the same goal than me. Then I think this is why this happened with the Temple Store. But in 2015, we had a game house in Latin America, was Big Odds. And I think was so good because we really could see we improving and your synergy is so much better. I think with 1-2 months, we really can see how improve it, because your focus in team fight were on point, everyone focused the same guy. And every time when you lose a screen, or I remember in the first week when we moved it, was the only match that we lose it in 2015. And everyone start to say, oh, they move it to the game house and lose it the only match in the year. But this make you are so strong in Latin America, because we know we lose it, but we fix this like a team. Everyone was together, and I look to my people on my side, and I knew he was give up your job, and I looked to the other guy, and I knew he give up your school, and everyone was there for the same goal, and everyone wanna be the best. Then we could improve so much, and yeah, they start to be my family. They start to be like brothers, and what I need, they help me, and what they need, I help us. I think it's this.
Yeah, I think synergy is something that is really difficult to quantify when you're just like, it's kind of a flowery term, like, oh, we need to improve our synergy, but it's really super important in team-based games. To use an example outside of Heroes, I used to play in a Christian rock band because I'm the coolest human alive. And when I played with the same guys for like 3 years. And when we first started playing together, we had to practice every song a bunch of times. We were all off on our timing with each other. All of us were good at playing our instrument, but we hadn't worked together for a long time. By the third year we were playing together, we did a concert where we somehow, like, there was an audio error, something happened where we got completely off from each other in a song. Everyone stopped playing at the same time, and just by looking at each other, we knew exactly where to come back in, what to start with. We could cue each other to stop and start songs, to change things in the middle of a concert without communicating, just with a look. I knew if the lead guitarist like lifted his guitar like this instead of like forward, I knew that meant go to the chorus. And it just, because we had been together and watching each other and observing each other and playing together for so long in such tight-knit environment, That's what synergy is. It's without having to explain yourself. Your teammates know what you're going to do. And in a game like Heroes that's so team fight oriented, having that synergy, I mean, everything is decided in a fraction of a second. You go back and read my recap of Gold Club, the Dragonshire match, Roll20 versus Fnatic. Justin was a pixel away from landing a mosh that wins that game. The game is decided in fractions of a second. If you have that level of synergy with your teammates where you don't have those fraction of a second that you need to talk to each other, you win more games.
Yeah.
And that to me is what a team house and being together when you practice does for a team.
And to be fair, right, it is a challenge. To be in a team house, you basically you give up everything. You can't have that job that you used to have. You can't have a girlfriend that maybe you live next to, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things. I'm just saying, like, that is the challenge, right?
I love Jay. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, he's just like, that's what I moved away from my family. So what? Right?
What's your excuse?
Right. No, and I totally agree. Those are the things you need. Like, one of the Trent knows and Bahgz know, like, one of my, like, pipe dreams or whatever you want to call it, the one thing that I've always wanted to do is I wanted to sponsor and own a team. And if I was going to do that, like, I would want to figure out a way to work a team house into that, as stupid expensive as that is, because of those reasons. If you live together and this is what you're doing all day, every day, this is how you get that level of synergy that says, I don't need you to tell me you're going in. We spend 20 hours a day playing together. I know you're going in, and I know what, like, the rest of us know exactly what we need to do to execute that and get the team wipe and win the game, right? Like, those are the kinds of things that you can work out and you can make happen, but you have to have that house to do that.
Like, the thing that people always bring up is, well, you don't need a house, you just need a practice area. That's not part of this conversation. No teams have the money to do that. If they did, they would already do that. There are teams that are experimenting with that sort of stuff, where, like, Team LiQuiuD has a complex where players can live nearby and then go to a place to practice. That's how it works in Korea. One of the other reasons that they're so much better than everybody else. But that's a pointless part of the conversation because it's not realistic. I think there are ways to do a house and not have it be so claustrophobic. And to talk about the money part of it, in a lot of ways for the players, it's actually not, like, there's some upfront cost, but as a player, your food is split with 4 to 6 other people. Your internet, your bills, like your utilities and things, are split with 6 other people. You're getting a ride with, there's always a car or a transportation going everywhere else. There's always people that are going out when you want to go out.
You're like, I'd split it 6 ways. I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm going to make sure they have good power and dual gig Ethernet coming into the house for internet from 2 providers, so they're always online. Like,
yeah, but
right?
you take that out of their salary.
Yeah.
Like, all of that is worked into the agreement so that it makes sense for the organization to have the house, and then they have that house as an asset. I think one of the reasons we haven't seen houses right now is because it's just so risky for an organization to invest in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
But now that we've got the structure that we have in place now, like SpaceStation, as long as they don't get relegated, they are going to be in Heroes of the Storm until they don't want to be in Heroes of the Storm anymore.
Right.
So they could safely invest in a house and not suddenly have Heroes of the Storm as an esport disappear unless they got relegated, and they've got a good enough team that that's not going to happen.
Right.
But I can say for my team LATAM, because if you think this is risk here, you can think in Latin America, because we try to talk with the orgs when we make our game house, and we make a conversation with everyone, and we said, if we want to be the best, we need to have a game house. And what you need to have a game house, it's we need to share your prize pool with the organizations. And everyone say, I agree. I don't care if I will need give 30% for, I think it was this 30%. I don't care if I need to give 30% from the prize pool, from the awards to the sponsor, for will be better, for we improve. If we improve and be the top one, we are winning. It's
Right.
like I will win more because I am in the game house, but I will share the money. But I'm sharing the money, I will still win more because I'm improving and get more
Right.
good place in the international events. This is what we did. We share your money because everyone say it's crazy. No one or organizations will make a game house in Latin America for Heroes of the Storm. You don't have salaries. We only have the prize pool. And I said we will do.
Well, and like 70% of a million is better than 100% of like 10,000, right? Like
it's like this.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like when you have a gaming house, you have the opportunity to do more content. You have the opportunity to have people pop into streams, which makes streams more interesting. You have opportunities to do more with that house and use it as a resource, especially in North America where we have, or Europe where we have content houses and editors available all over the place. You have cheap housing in Arizona and places like that where you can get a giant house for not stupid amounts of money.
I was thinking through it already. Like I'm doing HDMI feeds off of all 5 computers into a thing so I can get an editor to sit down and take live streams from all of them and like mash them together and like clips once a week of like, you know, scrim moments and like video, like live video during not super secret practice sessions, like just all sorts of like, there's ways to monetize that content as the org.
This is my project for this year. I don't know how you do this, but I will bring a LATAM team to play in North America in the next season, the OP division.
That'd be awesome,
dude. Originally, I thought that was the goal when they made the rule changes. I for a second there, I thought you were going to bring the whole Red Cannons roster to NA.
When you like, if you need help with that, let me know because that's a really interesting idea.
It worked for China in League in season 3. They brought a team over through the Challenger series, qualified to be a pro team in North America, and we had an all Chinese North American team represent North America at Worlds that year. It was real weird.
We had this in Counter-Strike team. The best Counter-Strike team in the world is Brazilian.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was I remember reading about that.
And they started like this. They moved 5 guys to one place with 2 months with 5 computers, and they didn't have pets, only codes in the ground, and they started like this. It's I think it's
the drive.
It's no one get the top with no sacrifice. It's the price.
5 computers, 5 codes.
There's actually to follow up on that. It's funny. Right as I was putting my chair together this afternoon, I was watching the Score Esports has a documentary on Fallen, the Brazilian player that brought his team to North America, and it's a really good documentary talking about he literally just wanted to be the best, and he moved his team. He started a YouTube channel all about coaching Counter-Strike to build up the money to be able to move. It's an incredible story, and the rest of the community helped and supported them because they respected their drive so much. They just did it.
But back into the topic, I think the money and the risk is not a problem because I already contact some orgs here, and I asked if I gave % from my prize pool and my salary, they said 100% we could have a gaming house.
So is it just that players don't want to?
I don't like to say this because
that's all right. You don't have to. Well, you know the other challenge, right? If you think about it, think about NA as a whole. Well, 40% of the NA, maybe it's closer to 35 of the NA players are in Canada right now versus the US, and it's not a problem, but it's something else you have to address, right? If it's a Canadian person coming into the US, it's like that's kind of a pain sometimes, especially if you're going to live and work here 6 months
It
out of the
is,
year.
but there's enough. Like pro players get visa approval and stuff. I mean, TSM when they started the first league gaming house had the odd one was Canadian, and they had no problem bringing him to New York, and that was 6 years ago now. Like it really, so that Jay doesn't have to say it. In all honesty, the only thing I can think is that players don't want to move. In league, it's mandatory, and Baker even said when we were talking about it on Twitter that like if you talk to a bunch of league players, if it wasn't mandatory for them to have a house, they wouldn't.
Right.
Which I can understand, but at the same time, if you don't have the resources to get a practice area, I really think that being in person is so valuable. And I think unless you have a communications background or you have experience doing something else like playing team sports or playing in a band, or you have a communications degree like I do, like being in person, having conversations, just doing your analysis, like literally just doing replay analysis, being able to look someone in the eye and say, here's where you screwed up versus saying it over voice comms.
Right.
It changes the conversation so much, and all of that is so valuable that to me it's worth. If your goal is to win and your goal is to challenge international teams, I think it's worth. I think there is enough value in having a house and having a centralized practice area that it outweighs any complaint that you would have about it.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it back around to why following Jay on Twitter is the right thing to do. If you have the drive to be #1 at this game, you have the drive to say, screw it, I'm going to live wherever I need to live to do it. Whether it's a gaming house, whether it's a block away from a practice area, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you have that drive to be #1. You're going to do what it takes, whether, no matter what that is. And living across the country from the rest of your team, which I know is happening. I know there are people on the West Coast and the East Coast playing for the same team. If you want to be if you want the best opportunity to be #1, living in the same house will give that to you. But
yeah,
it still has to work, and there's hurdles in the way of that.
If I have my team in a game house, they will see for my muscles every day, and they will not troll in the games. I promise.
There you go, man.
You've got an enforcer.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like built in, man.
They will think 2 times when troll some game.
That's awesome. All right.
I want game cribs back with the SpaceStation crew.
That would be kind of cool.
Oh my god, I would watch that every second of every day. Do you guys remember game cribs, or am I like?
No, I remember
no one
it.
follow season 2 League of Legends?
I barely remember it, but I remember it.
God, it was super weird, but also the best thing ever. And I can just like Equinox is amazing. Cass is going to be a star in this league as soon as he starts tweeting more and SpaceStation does better. Like, you guys have such interesting personalities that like 90% of the HOTS community doesn't know about yet. And if you guys got in a house and had a camera crew following you, it would be the most watched thing.
They just need to get Equinox in that like bear hat on repeat, and it'll go viral.
Right,
right. You need to see Tomster workouting with me. He did it. And
did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Summer.
That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. In the last day, he starts to say, "Oh, come on, Jay, I can do more. Oh, come on, you do."
You'd have the whole team buff. You could do like crew battles of arm wrestling against Kaldor and whoever he
can bring up. You
5 on 5.
And that's the funny thing. I've been meaning to talk to Chrissy. Like, I want to get all of you guys on here to run through and like ask questions and just kind of. I agree with Trent. Like, there's personalities that aren't readily apparent. Whether that's because of Twitter, whether that's because they've been in the back on other teams and they haven't been like the front and center personality on those other teams. Like, there are reasons behind it. And maybe some of that gets fixed with the upcoming HGC videos that you guys had to shoot when you were down at the summit. Who knows, right? It's hard to figure that out. But we'll see what content they have. All right,
I wanted to ask that while you brought it up. How was the summit, Jschritte? Like, what was that? It was your first summit, right?
I mean, yeah, but I know everyone, and I could talk more with other players, and I could know the Blizzard staff because I know everyone from LATAM, but I don't know the Blizzard staff here, and everyone say, "Oh, it's so good to see you here," and yeah, it was so fun. I could know my team personality because I never meet them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was so good for the team, for everyone there.
Awesome. All right. We're running low on time, but I'm going to bring up this little issue because I know you tweeted about this yesterday, and I know you and Trent are working on something in the background, but your single image of why, or what did you say? It was one image of the LATAM pro scene and why it's going to be hard to grow based on getting paid and not getting paid. So I don't know which one of you wants to talk a little bit about that, but
I can't talk. I can't talk. I don't care.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, I know you guys are working on an article too, so I don't want to like spoil everything, but like maybe a 60-second here's what's happening with Latin Americans getting paid.
Do you want me to take it, Jay?
Go ahead.
So yeah, basically, we're talking behind the scenes, and I'm planning to put out an article explaining the situation a little bit more in detail. But the long and short of it is, there are, from that tweet you can see there are teams and players that have been owed prize money from Latin American tournaments for over 6 months now that still have not been paid. Some players and some teams have been paid while others are still waiting for it. It's kind of in chaos right now. There hasn't really been great response from what I've been told from Blizzard LATAM on why they're not getting their money and why it's taking so long. And it's just really kind of a mess that Jay is trying to bring attention to so that someone will actually do something about it, because it's basically been the same situation every year since 2015, but it's not getting any better. And so we're trying to bring light to it to make the larger Heroes community aware that, hey, you like seeing Latin America at these international tournaments, but they've got a regular scene going on every year, and they are struggling to get their top players the compensation that they're relying on when they're sacrificing their lives for this game.
Yeah.
Well, it's so much more than that too, right? So like they're trying to make a living doing this. They don't get paid a salary down in LATAM. There is no salary. They're depending on prize money, and when there is no prize money, essentially they're just playing for free.
I remember in the Western Clash in this year, I think it was in Russia, in Ukraine.
Yep.
And I had 4 teammates. They didn't play the game. When you are in the Western Clash, they didn't play the game for the last 30 days. And because every team give up everything, and everyone in the team only play Heroes, and they need pay internet. I had teammates asking me for money because I'm streaming. Then I can make some money with streaming and other things. And they ask me for money to pay the internet because they don't have money to pay internet. And when I asked why they are not playing, and they say, I don't have money, I need to do something to pay the internet and to have food, and I know we need sacrifice and everything. This is so much important, but how captain or how a key player, I could not say to that. I can't blame my teammates for not playing the 30 years. Right. It's what I want to say. We played the Western Clash with players where they are not playing heroes for 30 days. This is crazy, and I can't say nothing because they are right. They need to make money and they are not to receive the payment. Then that I don't know. I was so sad because I feel like I could do nothing. I only need to
Right.
accept this.
Well, there's nothing you can do, right? Like, which is the
Well, and what we can do now is bring light to it, and hopefully Blizzard will be able to, at the very least, explain why and be able to put systems in place to prevent this from happening again in 2018 and get these guys the money that they're owed.
right.
It's good that they've been keeping track of it and that Jay's got some easy to read stuff so that the rest of the community can kind of understand the severity of the situation. Like, it's not just one player like didn't give them the right PayPal information or something. This is a chronic issue that's been going on for several years. And there's language in the agreement between Blizzard and the players that says that Blizzard will pay within 90 days of the end of a tournament. And we're way past that on a number of events from the way that Jay has explained it to me. So we're going to talk some more. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want to double check. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's not. There was a lot of talk about this on Reddit and on Twitter that it's like it's not ESL or anything like that that's running it down there, right? It's straight from the horse's mouth that we're having the issue, right?
What happened? It's what's the correct? It's Blizzard pay to SL and SL plays the players. But we are the players. And for us, we don't care if the money is from SL or it's from the Blizzard. It's Blizzard is responsible to make this happen.
Yep.
Then with this problem with ESL, it's not your problem. It's Blizzard problem,
Right.
and they need to fix this.
Yeah, Blizzard is using Heroes Esports to promote Heroes of the Storm. And if the problem is that ESL is not paying out with the money that Blizzard is giving them, Blizzard needs to explain that to the players and needs to use their resources to compel ESL to do their end of it. Ultimately, the responsibility is on Blizzard. Like, ESL is a big enough company that they should have the systems in place to get payment out. They do lots of international tournaments in a lot of different regions, and they pay out lots of different payments to a lot of different people. So if the problem is structurally on their end, we need to know that. But ultimately, the issue goes back to Blizzard because it's their game, it's their tournament. They're the ones promoting it. The Copa America feeds into the international events where we see these teams, where they are used on an even bigger stage to promote the game. So ultimately, the responsibility falls on Blizzard, and late payment is very common in esports. It's not necessarily like Blizzard is doing something malicious. I saw somebody trying to rile up drama that says, like, Jay was saying that Blizzard are racist because they don't want to pay Latinos
No.
or something stupid. Like,
Really?
That's not at all what anyone is saying. There's nothing hateful happening. There's nothing evil and greedy that Blizzard's doing. There's a system in place that's not working, and so the system needs to be changed. That's really all it is.
That's all. They just gotta, lean into ESL there a little bit and
Jesus.
shake that tree and make.
Well, we just need to understand it. Like, I
Right,
don't
right.
know. I have to. We're kind of in an unfortunate time where the holidays hit right in the middle of me trying to investigate for this article. So I haven't been able to reach out for comment from ESL or Blizzard yet. So I might have to do a follow-up in a week or two once I'm able to get some responses. But I am going to be chasing this down until it's not a thing anymore. And if any other Latin American players want to get involved, want to share their information or their quotes with me, or have contacts with anyone at ESL or Blizzard Latin America that I can talk to get their side of the story, I would like to do that. But at this point, I've got the information that I've got, and I'm going to try and put it together into something that can help the community at large understand and just keep, because the Reddit thread is gone and nobody's talking about it anymore on Reddit. So my goal right now is just to keep the conversation going, because money takes time. It takes time. We're not going to be able to get 7,000 upvotes on Reddit and tomorrow all the players get their money.
Wait, that's not how it magically works?
No, it's weirdly enough, you downvoting something on Reddit doesn't mean that EA is out of money, you dinguses. But we're gonna, that's the biggest thing that people can do, is keep retweeting, keep upvoting, keep the conversation going until we get responses that create change. So
awesome.
That the players get the money they're owed, and this doesn't keep happening, especially with Blizzard putting more next year into the wildcard regions,
right?
Or the minor regions, as they're called in Heroes. Sorry, League terminology. If they're going to be putting more into those regions, players need to be able to know that they're actually going to get paid, and organizations need to know that they're actually going to be able to safely invest.
Right. Can't pay for the house if you don't get the winnings, man.
Yeah, if Jay's
right?
trying to convince organizations to pay for their house because of winnings, sorry, dude, you're not going to get your winnings for another year.
Like, that doesn't work, man. I got a mortgage to pay now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So. I look forward to reading the article. Like most of your stuff, it's I don't think I've ever read an article that was completely. Maybe there's that one time about that Smash thing, but you know. All right. I think we have hit that magic marker. Thank you, Jay, for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you, as always, Trent, for being on. You have a unique view that I think most of us would love to hear about. So thank you. And thank you all for listening to Trollin HGC, a weekly podcast about Heroes of the Storm Esports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. We stream live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Tuesdays now at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Jay, any shout-outs you want to throw out there?
Shout-outs for all my fans in Brazil. I love you. And all my fans in North America too. Now I have more fans. And everyone who supports me and supports my team, SpaceStation Gaming, my teammates, my organization, everyone. And it is.
Awesome. Trent, where can people find you, or any shout outs you want to throw out there too?
Follow me, Trent_esports on Twitter, but the most important thing is go follow Jay on Twitter.
Yes.
Because like, you won't be able to be lazy ever again. Like, you just can't. So that's the most important takeaway from all of this tonight, is go follow Jay on Twitter.
If you follow him on Twitter and you read his tweets, 100% you cannot be lazy anymore. Like, you just it's impossible to read those tweets and be like, you know what I'm gonna do today? Not a single thing. And then you read a tweet and you're like, yep, I'm going to run 20 miles. Like, it's literally impossible to be lazy. So
super motivational.
Absolutely. It's definitely, like, seriously, your Twitter is awesome. Thank you for that. Bahgz, where can people find you?
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Bahgz HGC. You can watch me stream on twitch.tv/Bahgz. I've got a regularly scheduled stream going on now. The calendar is on the Twitter, so give it a look. As well, if you enjoyed tonight's show and are interested in Blizzard's other esports offerings, consider subscribing to the Weekly Blizz, where my buddy Gwaz and I cover all of Blizzard's esports, and it can be found on all podcast sources. LiQuid, where can people find you?
All right, so the best place to find me is on Twitter, at LiQuidGG. That's LiQiuDGG. I tweet whenever I do pretty much anything, including starting to stream at the end of the week, going into the new year. Yeah, that's the best place to follow me. Thank you to everyone that watched. Thank you, Jay, for being on. Thank you, Trent, for being on, and Bahgz, as always, for joining me. Thank you all of our Patreons over at patreon.com/TrollsGG. Follow us on Twitter at Trollin HGC for show announcements and Heroes of the Storm esports news. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrollsGG to be notified when we go live, or subscribe on any of the other normal platforms, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitchers. Give us feedback. We love feedback, whether it's through Twitter, through email. You can email us at trollin@trolls.gg, or even through whatever podcast platform you're listening to. We'd love to get that feedback and either respond or try to improve things. Thank you, chat, as always, for being around and giving us extra questions to ask tonight, as well as interacting with you. We love watching with you guys, and we love doing the show for you. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Peace out.